Karen burned trash in the public park by our barn, got arrested and fined $180,000 in court. What drives a person to set fire to their own principles in a blaze of defiance? In the quiet town of Willow Creek, where the air carried the scent of pine and the distant hum of community life, a single act of rebellion sparked a chain of events that would unravel lives and expose hidden truths. This is the story of Karen Whitaker, a woman whose fiery choice in a public park would ignite far more than just trash. Karen was a fixture in Willow Creek, known for her sharp tongue and unyielding opinions. She lived in a modest house near the edge of town, close to the sprawling public park that bordered the old Thompson barn, where my family had worked the land for generations. The park was a haven. Children laughed on swings, families picnicked under ancient oaks, and joggers traced paths through fields of wildflowers. But Karen saw it differently. To her, the park was a canvas for her frustrations, a place where rules were suggestions and her will was law. It started on a crisp autumn evening, the kind where the sunset painted the sky in hues of amber and crimson. I was tending to the barn, stacking hay bales, when I noticed a faint glow near the park's edge. Smoke curled upward, twisting like a warning. Curious, I jogged over, my boots crunching on fallen leaves. There, by a cluster of maples, was Karen, standing over a pile of burning trash, plastic bags, food wrappers, even a broken chair, flames licking greedily at the debris. The acrid smell stung my nose. "Karen, what the hell are you doing?" I called, my voice sharp with disbelief. She turned, her face illuminated by the fire's glow, her eyes defiant. "Cleaning up, Jake. This park's a mess, and nobody does anything about it." "Cleaning up? You're burning trash in a public park. You'll start a wildfire." I gestured toward the dry grass nearby, my heart pounding. She scoffed, tossing another bag into the flames. "Don't be dramatic. It's under control." But it wasn't. The fire was spreading, creeping toward the park's edge, dangerously close to our barn. I grabbed my phone and dialed 911, my hands shaking. Within minutes, sirens wailed, and red lights flashed through the dusk. Firefighters doused the flames, but not before the fire had scorched a patch of parkland and singed the barn's outer wall. Karen stood there, arms crossed, unrepentant, as the police arrived. "Ma'am, you're under arrest for illegal burning and endangering public property," an officer said, cuffing her as she protested loudly about her rights. The crowd that had gathered, families, joggers, even old Mr. Hensley from the general store, watched in stunned silence. Karen, the woman who lectured everyone on civic duty, was being led away in handcuffs. The news spread like the fire itself. By morning, Willow Creek was buzzing. Karen's act wasn't just reckless. It was a violation of state environmental laws. The park, a protected green space, was under strict regulations, and her fire had damaged native plants and threatened wildlife. Social media exploded with posts. Some called her a rebel, others a menace. I couldn't shake the image of her standing by the flames, her face a mask of stubborn pride. Weeks later, the courtroom was packed. I sat in the back, my sister Ellie beside me, her eyes wide with curiosity. Karen, dressed in a crisp blazer, looked out of place in the defendant's chair. Her lawyer argued she was making a statement about the town's lax maintenance of the park. But the prosecutor was relentless, presenting photos of the charred ground, the damaged barn, and a report on the ecological impact. The fine was staggering, $180,000, a sum that made the room gasp. Karen's face paled, but her jaw remained set. As the trial unfolded, a surprising figure emerged. Lila Monroe, a quiet park ranger who'd worked in Willow Creek for years. Lila was unassuming, with graying hair and a gentle smile, but her testimony shifted the story's weight. She took the stand, her voice steady but heavy with emotion. "I saw Ms. Whitaker in the park weeks before the incident," Lila said. "She was upset, ranting about litter and neglect. I offered to organize a cleanup with volunteers, but she refused. She said the town needed a wake-up call. I never imagined she'd go this far." Lila's words painted a new picture. Karen wasn't just reckless, she was deliberate. Her fire was a calculated act, a middle finger to a town she felt had failed her. But why? What drove her to such extremes? Whispers in the courtroom hinted at a deeper story, one nobody had fully grasped. After the trial, I couldn't let it go. I tracked down Lila at the park, where she was replanting wildflowers in the burned patch. "Lila," I said, "what did Karen mean by a wake-up call?" Lila sighed, brushing dirt from her hands. "You ever notice how Karen always seemed alone? She wasn't always like that. Years ago, she was different kind, even. But life hit her hard." Lila shared a story I hadn't expected. Karen had once been married, with a daughter, Sophie, who loved the park. They'd spend hours there, Sophie chasing butterflies while Karen read under the oaks. But Sophie died in a car accident at 16, and Karen's world shattered. Her husband left, and the park, once a place of joy, became a reminder of loss. Lila believed Karen's fire wasn't just about trash, it was about burning away the pain she couldn't escape. The revelation hit me like a punch. Karen's defiance, her anger, it was grief in disguise. I thought back to her rants, her insistence on fixing the park. Maybe she wasn't trying to destroy it, but to reclaim it, to force the town to care the way she no longer could. It didn't excuse her actions, but it made them achingly human. Months passed, and Karen faded from the headlines. The fine crippled her financially. She sold her house and moved to a small apartment on the town's outskirts. The park healed, thanks to Lila and a team of volunteers. Our barn was repaired, but the scorch marks lingered, a quiet reminder of that night. One evening, I saw Karen in the park. She was alone, sitting on a bench, staring at the wildflowers. I hesitated, then approached. "Karen," I said softly, "why'd you do it?" She looked up, her eyes tired but clear. "I wanted them to see it, Jake. The mess, the neglect. I wanted them to care. But I was wrong. I hurt more than I helped." Her words hung heavy. I wanted to be angry, to blame her for endangering our barn, our town. But all I saw was a woman broken by loss, her fire a desperate cry for meaning. I sat beside her, and we watched the sunset in silence. The park alive with the laughter of children, laughter Sophie would never share. Karen's story didn't end in triumph or redemption. She paid her fine, but the cost was more than money. She lost her place in Willow Creek, her voice drowned by the consequences of her actions. The town moved on, the park flourished, but Karen remained a shadow, a cautionary tale of what happens when grief turns to rage. And yet, Lila's quiet worker planting, rebuilding offered a counterpoint. Where Karen burned, Lila restored. Where Karen shouted, Lila listened. The park became a testament to second chances, not for Karen, but for the community she'd shaken awake. The bitter truth was that Karen's fire, though destructive, had sparked change. But at what cost? Nd.